Hey bookworms, happy weekly whimsy day. So we are going to do Maid Marian for our weekly whimsy, and I have already sketched it on. You can see I did my transfer where I colored on the back of my paper with my pencil, put that down, traced around it, and then I darkened it a little bit with a pencil. And then I've got my Micron pencils or Micron pens here, and I am going to trace her out a little bit and give her more of an ink look. And then I've got my watercolor, mini little watercolor paint palette here. So we're going to do watercolor with her. I thought that would be really pretty. I'm going to do my ink first. Hands are not working very good today. All right. So, it appears that the doctor has decided I have psoriatic arthritis, which is an autoimmune. I thought I'd tell you guys. Because I know a lot of you were with me back in the winter when I was delayed in getting some of the weekly whimsies up because of being in the hospital for some heart issues, and my cardiologist decided that I needed to see a rheumatologist, and so that's where I am now. So I took since this past winter to get in and figure all that out, and then there is of course testing to go with that. But yeah, so my hands today are not working so good, which I've known for a very long time. I've had a lot of inflammation in my hands and feet. Luckily, it's not a lot of the bad ones that could have been, that typically affect your heart and organs that we were afraid of. So I'm super blessed that way that nothing's big. Just swelling and pain for the most part. It does slightly, haven't been able to figure out the correlation, but there is an issue with like heart disease that does go along with the psoriatic arthritis. Not in the same way, I don't think, that it does with the lupus and stuff that they were afraid I had. But yeah, huge blessing that that's not what that is. Lupus is much more serious. But anyway, I'm like really struggling today controlling this pen. Having issues with gripping it. So you'll have to excuse me sometimes when these aren't as pretty as I was hoping. Let me grab my pen, or my tracer. I need to look at that. So you can see I left this area up in here blank. I haven't decided if I want to do like that scroll work like it has on the original. I don't think I will. There we go. I've got sort of not got this the way I want it. Now I'm not sure, I don't know if this is like part of the hat or some like hair coming out, I don't know. I was confused when I was looking at this clip art here earlier. It looks like part of the hat to me, but I'm not sure. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Or maybe her hair's through the hat? I don't know. It's different. So you can see how I do the cross hatching to help create like shade and shadows and depth and texture. And then we've got our hair coming down right here. Hope y'all are doing good with your book and enjoying it. I feel like that's a good adventure book for the summer for sure. And I am excited. I just ordered all the new stuff for the fall. I'm super excited. I got some fun new surprises coming for all of that I'm super excited for you guys to see. All right. Get her on here. So I added eyelashes that the original did not have. Felt like she needed that. And we've got an ear. And then I'm going to move this out of the way. We've got our pearls here. Some fancy type clasp in the back here. Now I'm not following exactly where I traced, but I'm going to go back with a eraser here in just a minute and clean this up after I get all my ink on. Shake my hand out. Oh my goodness. All right. And we've got the collar. Again, I left that detail in the middle out there. I'm not sure if I'm going to do something with that or not. I have a huge fly in my room here with me. I wonder if you guys can hear it. I feel like it's like super loud. I'm really bad about closing the doors in the summer. I like to let the air in. I need to get screens for all my doors because I just like leave them open. And yes, I did grow up out on a farm, so I have no issues with the bugs. My husband, on the other hand, gets pretty mad about the flies when they get in the house. They are sort of annoying. So my parents, when I was a kid, so my husband and I bought the property that I grew up at from my parents, and my parents always left the doors open, so that's where I get it. I blame them. But there was many times where we would come home and my dad would be outside working in the garden or something, and he would leave the doors open, and there would be a snake in our living room because it liked the cool. So you would think we lived really crazy, but we sort of did, I guess. We weren't bothered by the bugs and the animals. So flies are nothing in comparison to the snakes hanging out by your couch. We like to live like one with the animals, I guess. My husband's from the city though, so he's not quite so excited about all the bugs and stuff being inside. Alright, so I just added a little bit of shade around her hairline. You can also add texture and shade by stippling. It's another good way to add shadow. I think that's pretty good. I'm gonna add a little bit around her collar. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get started with my painting. So I've got, like I said, my little travel watercolor. It's actually my favorite kit. I have lots of watercolor, but I just love this one. Convenience of having this little palette. And I've got a little water brush filled with water. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get started with her. I'm going to do like a skin tone on her. This is the hardest part, and I want to unmixed for the most part. So I'm going to add, I've got like a whitish and off-white up here. I'm going to add that to her skin. And this will wet the paper for me. You can see it's just, I don't know, maybe you can actually. I'm not sure if you can see from the video or not, but it's just slightly more creamy looking than the paper. So we're gonna just do this off-white, and then I'm gonna go in after I get most of this covered and add some peach and pinks to this to give her a little more color to her skin. But this will give me a good base. Okay. So then I've got like this peachy color here, and I didn't clean my brush, got a little bit of white on it still. I'm going to go right along all the edges. I'll clean my brush up a little bit. I don't want it super dark along here. And then I want to pick up, let's see, I don't have a light color on here. It's like no light pinks or reds. Well, pink, red, you know. Alright, so let's see if I can get, yep, there we go. So just barely tap in. Reddish color right around her cheeks, and we'll go up in her hairline, under the eye, across the nose, There we go. Blush right here on her décolleté. That's a lot. Let me see if I can get this moved around a little bit so it's not quite so red. There we go. If you have a skin color, great. You can see though the trick to this in mixing it is that you want to have the paper already a little wet, so that way it blends out really soft. I'm going to darken our cheekbones a little bit when we're blushed. Upper temple. And then I'm going to give her some rosier lips. Oops. There we go. Okay, and then I'm going to give her sort of an auburn hair color. Can't remember if it describes her. Is it blonde? I can't remember now. If it has a description. I should have looked before I did this. So I'm just going to follow a lot of these lines. Oh, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to erase my pencil. Okay, I'll have to finish. Let me finish her hair. Actually, I'm going to wait. Hold on. I'm going to erase this. I have a good pencil in here, or a good eraser. Well, actually, hold on. I got so many erasers everywhere. I like this one with the handle. It doesn't leave a lot of, too much crud everywhere. All right, I'm gonna blow this off. There we go, much better. Okay, back to her hair. I'm gonna put her in, I think, some blue, I think is what I want to do on her clothing. So I have like these really pretty deep, it's like periwinkle colors. Well, it's not quite as purple as I was thinking. Nice royal blue though. You can see I'm going around just the edges, and I'm going to blend that out here in just a minute. Okay. And then we'll put some of this dark blue up here. I'm going to do the hat that color. Okay. I'm going to add, let's see, I want the dark down here. And you can see I just did not put as much detail in her clothing as what was on the original tracer. You can definitely do that if you want. I'm going to clean my brush out pretty good on my little sponge here. And then I'm going to switch to this really light baby blue. And then I'm going to do the same color down on her collar here. Okay. And then I'm going to put green jewels in her things on her neck for Robin Hood here. And then I need to flip my little sponge thing. Let's wipe off there. And then I'm going to add like a silver. I have some metallics in my palette here. I'm going to add a silver to the jewelry here just to give it a little bit of shine. Okay. And then I'm going to do really dark violet, I think, for her eyes. Like that. And then I'm going to wipe my brush off and then just use a little bit of that same color on her eyelid. Okay, and then I want to do a different color. I'm going to do a different, slightly different color blue on this part here. See if it actually changes. I don't know. I'm using a different blue, but it doesn't look that much different than the one I used. Sorry, though. It's got a little more purple in it. Okay. I think I'm going to be done with her. I like her. Could definitely do some in the background if you wanted. I think I'm going to leave it like that. Let me pull her up so you can see her. It's a fun illustration. It'd be pretty in a fairy tale book for sure. All right, you guys. I love seeing your weekly whimsies. I'm excited to see your weekly whimsy notebook. I had a cool idea. One of you mentioned, now I can't remember who it was. It was a little bit overwhelming. I have a cool idea for next quarter to hopefully cut down on that, because that is actually a really big thing to paint. So I have a cool idea about what to do about that. I also have a new little collectible thing that I think you guys will really like that's coming in the next quarter. I don't want to say too much, but I'm really excited about that too. So that'll be something that comes consistently. It's something you can use but also collect. So that'll be really fun and still sort of interactive in some way. At least if my idea works. I haven't tried it yet. I should say that I've ordered the stuff. I need to try it out and make sure it works the way I think it will in my head. And I think it'll be a fun addition to our subscription box. And then, yeah, so that will be shipped out in September. Wait, hold on. Yeah, June, July. Yeah, September. And that will be our fall subscription. And then, yeah, so I'm excited for you guys to see that book. I think you'll really have a fun time with that. The next one coming up as well. And then I still have to post our mini museum stuff. I've got a bunch more things to post here in the next couple weeks so that we can all get caught up. Look, there she is. She looks so pretty. Oh, look, that's coordinating colors. There we go. All right. So I'll see y'all soon. I look forward to seeing your weekly whimsies. Bye, guys.